you intensely.
She's getting there, though.
Well, I recognize a couple of those kids.
You made it.
You know, you
There's a whole row that goes to church.
I was worried about you.
I was like, oh, and then I remembered.
You're the only one.
How are you, sir?
Pardon?
How are you?
Tip top. How's that going?
Thank you.
No, I was stacking.
I was
Got
watching
your phones muted.
Zach.
Yeah.
Yesterday.
I was watching him run with his raincoat on to get in here. Yeah. And how he's going to say he didn't have time to read it. Everything.
Quite a scheme.
Some of us have to work way too long to start.
All right, you ready now?
I work about 18 to 19.
All right, let's go ahead and call the meeting to order. I've asked Councilwoman Bradshaw to lead us in prayer and pledge. Please.
Heavenly Father, we just thank you so much tonight for this great city that you have for us to live in and to just be a part of. And I'm just so grateful just to look out and see all the different generations that are represented here tonight at the council meeting. And I just pray that through this time of reflection, discussion, that Heavenly Father, your Holy Spirit will be here and lead us in the ways that we need to make decisions for this city that we all love. And it's in your name we pray this evening. Amen. Salute. Pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Thank you, thank you. All right, roll call.
Terry Lamar,
Here.
Troy Shropshire,
Here.
Lori Bradshaw,
Here.
Travis Mallure,
Here.
Randy Chitwood,
Here.
Charles Trammell,
Here.
Chris Gonthier,
Here.
Bruce Smith,
Here. All right. Thank you. Item 2, petitions from the audience. We have none. We'll go through our department head reports. We will start with Mr. Jensen. Johnny out there? Oh, we want Mike. We like Mike. Come on, Mike.
All right, so we do emergency management. I can tell you from an emergency management standpoint, we're still working on the disaster recovery for the present disaster. I call it the Father's Day disaster. I think it's 4721 to be exact. We're still progressing very along. All the departments are doing great. I think Mo met with the FEMA, we met with them and just banged out some little issues that they might have had. But we are progressing along, and I believe we're going to be we should be all submitted in probably by the 6-month mark, which is what our goal was from the get-go. So we're doing great on that. The only other thing that I might just mention is I know we're on the agenda here for item 4E. That 4E does have a little section, and this is the thing I'm going to strongly suggest to you. We're going to suggest that you agree to sign that document, and that just makes us to be able to where we can act on your behalf to the state, but we need you all to actually put that in there. Yeah, there's a section there that says you can appoint a primary and a secondary. We suggest you put me and Johnny as your primary and your secondary to deal with the state on your behalf. If not, you can appoint Courtney or whoever to talk on it, but we know how they talk and what they talk, and we're great at fighting with the state, so we'll do that.
Well, we like people to fight for us, so thank you.
All right, we're ordered.
Thank you.
I also appreciate you not passing it on to me.
Oh, yeah.
Chief Young.
Boys have been chasing wrecks and fires, but it's that time of year with travel and all that for the holidays, and then of course fires with supplemental heating and stuff like that, and trying to keep our little critters warm outside. So we might get with Mr. Allward and some of them just put some things out there, just help remind people how to do that safely to where we don't have issues. Y'all might have seen all the concrete getting tore up front at the new police and fire station. They were doing that. It's pretty much a cosmetic thing is what they told us, where there were some cracks. They didn't like the finish. They said there was no uplifting on it, which would have caused a problem if they were getting some water and that concrete was starting to lift and lower. They said there was none of that. The back apron, they also cut and caulked a piece back there just to keep that crack from spreading. And the concrete people we talked to, they acted like they were happy with that. And from there, I know next week they're coming Thursday and Friday to fix all the ceiling tiles that we have damage to from the water leaks and the dripping and stuff like that. We've been good on our side. We haven't had any water leaks. This last rain we got just the other day, we had nothing on our end. The overhead doors, they came 2 days ago and went through those and readjusted our doors to where we weren't having issues, which is just adjustment with that building getting where it's supposed to be. You know, it had a little bit of moving back and forth, and they adjusted those, so we weren't having any problems there. But that's kind of an update on the building where we're at. And like I said, boys were getting all ready for the winter month, you know, for fires and wrecks, for all the fun holiday travel and cold weather coming in. But y'all have any questions for me?
Yes.
Yes, sir.
Can you elaborate more on the concrete problem as to why they said it had to be tore up since it's brand new concrete?
The one that I heard from CMS Willowbrook was almost 100% cosmetic. So they're saying they didn't like the finish, they didn't like the crack. So up front where they replaced those 2 sections, they said there was no issues with underneath to where it was gonna cause a big issue. But since it's a new big building, you know, Main Street and all that, they wanted it fixed, the crack and the finish fixed to where it looked good. And also the concrete company, to my understanding, agreed with that. On the back apron, back where PD's got some vehicles and stuff, and I don't want to misspeak, but where they got stuff maybe for call, or from some of the calls they had, they moved that up, there was a crack back there, they just took a concrete saw, they cut it and they caulked it, just to keep it from spreading. So where they did up front, it was more for what I say a cosmetic deal. They probably could have took those cracks, cut them, and sealed them like what they did on the back. But since it was up front to where everybody kind of comes to that building at, they wanted it to look good and wanted the finish to look good. That's what I was told on that. But I don't know much about concrete. It gets hard and the cracks is all I know, so.
Was CMS the one that found the problem?
Yes. So we didn't report that. In fact, when we did our walkthrough, that wasn't on anybody's list.
Okay.
And so it was literally when we were doing that lights on event, it was kind of a surprise, like, oh, there's a chunk missing. So, yeah, it's cosmetic, and they wanted to take care of
How
that.
deep is that?
I'd be lying to you. I know if you look to where on the south side where that gate is, on the west side, if you come off Kewalya, that from where that gate is all the way to what I call our back apron, or where we pull through the station to where we pull out, it's re-strengthened. And like I said, I'm not a concrete person, but it's big enough, heavy duty enough for our trucks. And then I think some of the other areas where it's just like PD vehicles and civilian vehicles, it's not as sealed up and deep poured like that. But all I can tell you is they told me that none of my trucks would cause an issue. They went through there and they were supposed to make it deep enough and put enough steel in there that it was
Hold it
good to
together.
go.
Okay.
Is there any kind of warranty on that for the future?
I don't think,
Especially if they're not gonna cut it out in the back, just kind
no,
of,
we'd have to look and see if that, we know, like, as we get into later, we'll discuss, but like, the roof has a 2-year warranty. We did look and see that.
I believe
We've-
all of everything has a 2-year warranty. Each
Like the,
tradesperson gave us.
yeah, we can look and see. It's a book about, well, it's several books. It's-
when did that 2-year warranty start though? Cause we're already almost a year
We're halfway through.
till when they opened it, but the warranty starts the day we move in or when they put the roof on?
I'd have to read the documents to
Yeah,
confirm, but I
we
can email
find
it to you
that
too.
out. It's a lot of documentation.
I know.
So and that documentation is on like
I know.
every doorknob and screw, so we'd have to go in and see what that is. But thank you.
Any questions?
Thank you.
All right.
Sir?
Golf had a family situation tonight. Ms. Raritt from the library.
You guys should have
sheet in front of you, and I have decided that every August, I'm gonna tell you that our stats are gonna go down a lot, so that when I get here in November, I can say, well, they didn't go down. So our checkouts and digital checkouts, everything is pretty much the same for October as it was in November. If you look, our door count was a lot higher in October than it was in September. Part of that is because of the Halloween trick-or-treating, but part of that is because I think that we're kind of getting back towards where we were before COVID. I looked back at our statistics that we had in 2017 and 2018, and in October, we had about 5,300 people through the door. We average about 200 a day. So we're getting closer to where we were before COVID hit and before the construction started. So it's good numbers. It's good stuff. Do you guys have any questions for me? All right, thanks.
Frank Powell, Parks and Cemetery.
You have to excuse me, I'm fighting some bronchitis, so I start coughing. We've actually been pretty busy, you know, parks, that time of year, winterize, everything, shut everything down. We finally got like most of the framework up from at Centennial, where Connie had her pergola, and we was approved to put a shelter up. Cemetery guys, in between funerals, they've helped me out. They've done a lot of tree trimming for us, even took a couple of trees down at the rec center, and making some headway there. And this is the week we usually do Christmas lights, but this is the second time since I've been there this didn't happen. The rain messed us up yesterday, and the wind today, she wraps them with like a wrap, and so with the wind, I thought it wasn't safe to, you know, have to fight that and stuff. So we thought about tomorrow, but we're just gonna wait till Monday. We gotta go down and finish some welds and paint on the shelter at Centennial, so I want to get that done. So lights will go up Monday and Tuesday. And we'll make sure they're up and running for the parade. So, other than that, just
And you got your tanks installed? Are they filled yet?
tanks, parks are, cemeteries ordered,
Okay.
and we've got the parks. Yep,
Good.
yep, they're nice. Can't think of anything else right now.
I will say, just for heads up, if I remember right, when I looked at the amount that the invoice for your fuel, it worked up to be about $2.48 a gallon. Is what we paid for his unleaded.
I was gonna say, yeah.
So
That's good.
it's a great price.
That's like going to Sam's.
Right, right. So, all right.
All right, thanks.
Thank you. Captain Tremmel.
Ladies, gentlemen. So, we've been busy as usual. If you've paid attention, we've had lots of crashes here recently, some serious crashes, lots of domestics, some that our normal calls for service. Patrol's been busy, investigative division's been busy. Our chief's been doing a great job. You know, he was out for the downtown event the other night, and he lit up the Christmas tree after the little minor issue where it wouldn't come on. But other than that, like I said, everything's going well there. I'll go into some of it that BK was speaking about. CMS was there today, going through counting ceiling tiles. I think we had 50 that were on our side, counting the lobby. There was 10 over on the fire side. They were in a couple of days ago, not CMS, but they'd sent some down on the overhead door, looked at R2 for the Sally port, did some adjustments to sprayed those, seemed to get those back working more efficiently. So, like I said, we've still got the leak. As the mayor said, you'll address some of that here in a little while, but we do still have another problem there with there in our patrol side over the squad area, and I think that's over one of the skylights. So I let them know on that today that it was still leaking, so anytime it rains, there's still a problem there. But if you have questions or anything for me, I won't speak as long as the chief does, but
Did you get the heat and air issue fixed between, I think you call it the squad area, and then like where the hallway where the chief's office is, your
no,
office?
they are working on that. I had, we spoke with Melton's. Melton's come in and looked at it, and they needed some additional information, air reports and such from the heat and air that was from the HVAC company that put that in. So they received that. That was sent to us from CMS. That was forwarded to Melton. So they're looking at that to see the best remedy for it, if it's drop sensors or what it may be, so. But as your question, no, we don't have that addressed as of yet, but it is being looked at.
You said the skylights were still leaking?
The one skylight for sure in the squad area, that'd be the east skylight. They're-
They worked on it last week, didn't they? I think I seen them on the roof trying to caulk it or something.
Okay, and if they
It's
were there
still
that
leaking.
last week, and I think that's correct, I can't keep track of the days, but yes. But I checked after they come in today, BK called, said he's gonna be coming in, was there any issues? And, sure enough, I checked and they said it was leaking yesterday while it was raining, so there is still a problem there, and I let Gary know that today when he was in.
What about the tower? Is it still leaking too, around the windows up there?
I was not aware of any leaks around the tower itself. Most of the leaks, that were coming into the lobby, I'm not sure where those were originating from, we believe down further on the west side of the building, and
Okay.
Yeah, and I think that's just where it's making itself manifest. So it seemed to us like that was where the leak was at. They're aware. Brenna was told, you know, it needs to be remedied at whatever cost. And she confirms, she agrees. And she's gonna continue to work with the contractor the subcontractor that did the roofing. And so we'll see efforts going on there to try to figure that out. It's kind of like the great mystery for,
Mayor, do you have anything in writing from them that they're gonna make it good?
I have emails, correspondence between Brenna and myself, yeah. And they are being very diligent in trying to get to the things that when we did our pre-warranty walk, I mean, you guys have said they've been there, they're working on them. So I'm confident we'll get something eventually taken care of there, but
And he did say they would be back next Thursday and Friday to start putting in the tiles and do a few other things that were on that list, so.
I hope they don't have any other construction projects that hire those roofing companies and some of those other vendors and contractors doing the work for them, because they do crappy work.
so,
Anything else?
nope,
All right, thanks.
thank you. Mr. Moore, Rec Center,
Good evening.
otherwise known as the department with no working air conditioner.
Yeah, right. Well, HVAC tops the list again as usual. Seems like I repeat myself, but I think we're gonna take delivery on our first system about the middle of December, and the one that goes over the Boys and Girls Club, so we'll look forward to that. We got our landscaping completed. Those of you that have been by, they did a great job on that. We repainted the big wall on the inside, put a new logo and slogan on that. That looks nice. We needed locks on our chemical doors in the pool area, so we got that done. On a safety standpoint, did fire drill, tornado drill. Chief Young got the sprinkler system guys out. They tested that last week, so we're good there. So we feel pretty good about where we're at with that. As always, we're trying to hire lifeguards. So if any of you wanna, we raised their pay to $13 an hour, so can't pass that up, right?
You guys listening?
Yeah, there we go. We got a bunch of
Right there.
So, got that going on. We're doing swim lessons. Hosted GRD training a couple of weeks ago. In the fitness area, we've got our big Maintain, Don't Gain promotion going on. That's an annual event. Our virtual fitness, we got that, just about got that up and running. With the shortage on the instructors and all, that'll save us some dollars. We're gonna incorporate that in as programming. And so we'll have classes and we can dial that up and we don't have to hire instructors. So that'll be something new for us. Some miscellaneous items. We hosted a Halloween carnival. We had about 200 kids and parents come through that. Our membership is right at 1,990, and we had 97% retention rate from the previous month on that. And then big thing, our new software package, that's scheduled to be launched on December the 11th. And should be better, it'll save us some money, and we'll be a lot more efficient with what we're doing. So those are the highlights.
So you're just shy of 2,000 members.
Just short, yeah. We were a little above last month, so, it
We
kind of
need
fluctuates.
about 10, huh?
Yeah, we need 10, so.
Let's make that a year-end goal.
There we go, yeah.
Thank you.
Anything? All right, thank you all.
All right. Buddy Glenn, Street Department.
I want to let y'all know our building was built back in 1981. No leaks, our air conditioner and heater works just fine.
Can you get us a list of the contractors?
No, we've been working a little bit on trimming the alleys, trimming some limbs over the streets. We had a call here the other day over by Northeast Fourth and over by Lock Street. We had some trees over there that last, 2008, when we had that ice storm, they was sagging pretty much close to the ground, so we went ahead and went over and trimmed them. We're kind of going back and forth on the alleys and the trees. We're about a third done. We poured some more concrete over there off of Ridgewood. We're about a third done with that cul-de-sac. Depending on the weather, we hope to try to get it done this year, but if not, we got one really, I won't say bad spot over there, but there's a water leak that I talked with Jimmy from Utilities, and he said that they're working on getting over to get that fixed, so we're holding off until that's done, because we dig it out, it'll just drain right down inside there and it'll just be wet. Over at the trailer park, we got the bases set today. We got our poles and bases in set for that. I know we worked with, I think her name was Susan over through there, and they was trying to get the speeders down through what I call Taylor Street, through the trailer park. We're setting those up. Every other entrance down there, we're setting some stop signs. We're gonna see if that'll help out. We did a small repair sidewalk over on North Adair. We still need to actually fix it right. We're gonna have to saw it out and replace it. We had to, I guess for some cars, just over the years, it's been pushing up. But we went over and we ground it down, broke some of it out, and poured some, quick set cement in it just right now so there wouldn't be a tripping hazard. But that's something we'll have to come back. I don't remember if we had a tree down in the creek, over on the North Elliott. We got that out, cut it up and hauled it off. Normal stuff, potholes, I know we still got some that's normal that we usually fix, but we're trying to slowly get those ground out and sawed out and dug out and get those fixed. We've been running a sweeper here the last few days and a few days last week. But if there's anybody out there over the internet listening to this here, there's nothing more discouraging than running through and sweeping a neighborhood and then turning around to go back to another neighborhood and people are raking and blowing their leaves, and contractors at few businesses have just been blowing everything out in there. So there's nothing more discouraging than have that happen to you. So I don't know what to do about anything like that. But it does, because like I said, it's just costing the city more, because then once you get over it, but then you come back and then it looks the same as it was when we left. So it's not, so if you go through the streets and you see a bunch of leaves, it takes a while, because like I said, we waited a little extra long this year before we actually started sweeping, trying to get more leaves down before, instead of making 4 or 5 trips around the neighborhoods. But other than that, our trucks, we got our trucks back. They missed a couple lights on each one of them. So they picked one up Tuesday last week, had it back by Thursday, and then they picked the other truck and they had it back. They brought it back yesterday. Everything's working on those. Not that I'm ready for any ice or snow. I really don't want that. But y'all have any questions for me, or?
Isn't there a city ordinance?
There is an ordinance
Yes.
for that.
blowing
But
your
So
leaves and
I was
stuff?
gonna
I know
say,
there is about grass.
I was gonna say that reminder to the public, it is against city ordinance to blow your leaves into the street. It creates several different types of hazards and congestions in our drainage systems. Please do not blow your leaves or grass into the street. Bag them up, mulch them up, whatever you've got to do, but they don't belong in the street.
we're trying to work on a thing. It may take us a couple years to get, but I talked with the mayor about this, and it's a machine that they make that's actually made for leaf removal. And if we could ever get it together, it's I won't say it's pricey, but it's gonna be a few $100,000, but it's actually made for that. And what I'd like to do is be able to one of these days have for each neighborhood in the section of town that we're gonna go through, be cleaning them up, then if everything works out right, then, yeah, they'd be more than welcome to rake them out to the curb. That way there, you know, we can get everything picked up and people don't have to worry about it. But the other thing is, of course, like I said, we got vehicles that's on the streets, that we can't sweep around, where we have to go around them sometimes if there's, leaves and debris that's sitting up underneath them, of course, we can't get that, but we are working on something like that. I would like to do that, cause if we done that, then that would, everybody would get their frustrations out with the leaves, they could rake them out to the curb and we'd get them, but that's still a couple years down the road, but. Anything else? If not, I got one question. Where'd y'all get them Converse shoes at? That's back in the old days, that's what we used to wear, and I hadn't seen anything like that for a while. Several of y'all got those.
A lot more expensive today.
Are they?
But they are a little bit more padded than these.
Are they? Yeah, they were paper thin back in the day, but that's what basketball is. Yeah, they're.
Hey, buddy. They come with laces on them now.
Well, I'm getting to the age I need to stretch.
All right, thank you, sir.
No comments?
Courtney, do you have anything?
Yeah, we've been pretty busy as usual. We've been working a lot with Colker's office, getting stuff ready for the audit, so that he can start last fiscal year's audit. We had to change a lot of court processes to comply with the new legislative changes, so we've been working pretty hard with that. And I feel like we've pretty much gotten the court process really organized, and it's a lot more efficient now, which is great. And then my girls have been doing great with helping with any task I need, even if it's something they don't know how to do. They've been really willing to jump in there and do whatever it takes to help the office out, so I really appreciate their work.
Thank you. All right. You guys have anything further? Okay. Item 4, consent agenda. Do we have any items that we need to remove?
C is in Charlie.
Okay.
E.
E.
E is an echo.
Yep.
M, Mary.
Mary. Okay.
L.
L. Okay. Is that it? Okay. Do I have a motion to approve A, B, D, F, G, H, I, J, K, N, O, P, Q, and R?
I make the motion to approve.
Second.
Oh, go ahead.
Okay, we got a motion from Gantier and a second from Lamar. Go ahead and call for the vote.
Lamar,
Yes.
Shropshire,
Yes.
Bradshaw,
Yes.
Malure,
Yes.
Chitwood,
Yes.
Trammell,
Yes.
Gantier,
Yes.
Smith.
Yes.
Thank you. Item C, approve claims for purchase orders through November 21st, 2023. Do I have a motion?
Motion.
I have a motion from Chitwood,
Second.
second from Malure. Discussion?
Yes. The reason I brought this up was I've already brought to Courtney's attention, there's a PO from a structural engineering company in Tulsa concerning the swimming pool damage from the car wreck a few years ago. The invoice was sent to the former mayor and is dated in May, but we're just now getting it, and that's in the last fiscal year. So Courtney said that she needed to research that.
Okay. So we would approve.
So I'm in favor of approving
but
them
that
all
one.
but that one and table that one.
Okay.
We also have this purchase order from CMS Willowbrook that is on the agenda that has not been approved by council, so that one needs to be pulled off.
Which one, sir?
For the 29,000.
Yeah, that was approved when you guys approved them to change the jail doors from smoke doors to fire doors. That's actually doing that
So why is it on the agenda?
because it needs to be paid. Those doors have been swapped out and now we owe for the work that they did.
I know, but we haven't actually approved it yet, so I can't sign it because it's on the agenda.
You've got it down to your mayor's report separate.
Right. So set it aside and after the meeting we'll sign it.
Okay.
If it doesn't.
So
get
those
approved.
two?
Yep. That's fine. So those two. Good catch. Thank you. All right. So do I have a motion to approve all claims except for those two?
So move.
Motion from Gantier, second. Did you have that? Second from Chetwood.
And to table the one.
Sorry, I'm caught up.
You're good? Yes, it'll table that one. Call for the vote.
Shropshire,
Yes.
Bradshaw,
Yes.
Malure,
Yes.
Chitwood,
Yes.
Trammell,
Yes.
Gantier,
Yes.
Smith,
Yes.
Lamar.
Yes.
Item E, approve mayor to sign the disaster assistance agreement for emergency and major disasters between the state of Oklahoma and the city of Pryor Creek. Do I have a
I'd
motion?
like to make that motion, Mr. Mayor, but I'd also like to amend it to include the language that are to find CEM staff members there will be the ones representing the city of Pryor with the state on it, as they.
See, it is on that third, I think, third page on that form where
Yeah.
we put our names in.
Yeah.
To put your names in there.
And I'll second what Terry said.
Okay, so we have a motion from Terry Lamar and a second from Chris Gantier.
Do we need to have that amended with that verbiage, or is it okay with it already in the agreement like that?
So their names are on the back side of that page.
They're already there.
I just want to make sure Terry
Okay.
doesn't want me to change the motion.
No, it shouldn't be. Do you have any, you don't need to change it.
Okay.
All right, call for the vote.
Bradshaw,
Yes.
Malure,
Yes.
Chitwood,
Yes.
Did we have opportunity to discuss that other than,
To discuss the emergency management,
yes?
did you have discussion?
I had a question,
We've
Okay.
already started the vote, haven't we?
Yeah,
yeah, we've
but
already.
I mean, you
voted.
started the vote, you didn't ask for discussion.
I apologize.
The reason I was asking is because I noticed, which it's all great, everything, but there was a part of it that said if we had any future plans for funding, that if we were gonna set things up, that the city would be responsible for a certain percentage of that, and I just wanted a little clarification on that, that's all.
If you're talking about the disaster assistance, we get 75% from the feds. That's automatic, this is how all disasters go. The other 12.5% is done by the state, and then the other 12.5% is the city's part of it. We can tell you the state does pay, but the state does not pay in a timely manner. The state
Well-
just now, they were 8 years behind, and we just now started receiving payments for it.
Well, I'm pretty clear on that part, but there was a part of it that talked about if we were trying to do some future pre-planning type stuff.
Well, for this SLA, this is just dealing with this disaster.
Okay.
And that's all this SLA does, because I think you also have to sign an SLA agreement for us for our emergency management grant that we do. And that again, it has a separate agreement. And yes, we think it's ridiculous that we have to have multiple separate agreements, but that's what the state of Oklahoma and the feds say we have to do. And we're just doing what they say so we can get you all the money.
Thank you.
No problem.
Thank you, Mayor.
Yeah,
Okay, I'm gonna start over.
yeah, begin that again, please. Are you good?
No.
Okay,
Okay, Bradshaw,
Yes.
Malure,
Yes.
Chitwood,
Yes.
Abstain.
Gantier,
Yes.
Smith,
Yes.
Lamar,
Yes.
Shropshire,
Yes.
okay. Item L, approve a hotel motel grant application from Pryor Main Street in the amount of $6,000 for the Lights On Downtown event, November 16th, 2023. Do I have a motion?
Motion.
I have a motion from Mr. Chitwood
Second.
and a second from Mr. Shropshire.
I am here. It's
All right.
cold, so I'm here to answer.
Discussion, questions?
Yes, I just want, I'm curious, I know the grant application from the Chamber of Commerce, how it's gonna be bringing in business and things, and I saw where you had talked a little bit about bringing in visitors. I was just wanting to hear a little bit about what that actually does to,
What, bringing in visitors stuff?
I mean, how much it brings in, what kind of advantage it brings.
Okay, well, similar to the chambers mentioned previously, people come where there's an experience, and they're not gonna feel like if there's an experience, if it's not gonna match the tone of what your event is. So to have a lights-on event, you gotta have lights on the building. And so, that's one of the reasons why we put it on is that it's also in conjunction with the chamber events. That's tourism. You gotta create an experience for people to wanna come. We've seen it in Sapulpa. We've seen it, all over the state. Basically, if you're gonna wanna attract people to spend money here, you gotta have things for them to want to come and experience.
So it was a very well-attended event, even though we had to do it twice. So the tree was turned on with a clicker, and the clicker was a little too far away from the remote. And so we had to do it twice, but we won't tell it. Chief didn't know that, so he did good with his countdown. Well-attended, the carriage rides, the food trucks were good, the library, Santa Claus was there, and man, at one point, Carrie, was the line not like almost all the way out the door?
There was some chaos in our area, but yeah, it was good. It was good chaos.
It was, you know, minimal crying babies, you know, Santa tends to do that, but it was good. It was a good event. I think the spirit of Christmas for our community was definitely there. Houston? Yeah. Yeah.
So, and just to add on, because she mentioned it was part of the chamber, so the lights and everything that was with this grant that was purchased and for these activities does include that parade, because when we have the parade and everybody coming downtown, again, it contributes to an experience, right? So, as you can see in the Christmas parade this year, we're doing things totally different. And it's a downtown event, but then that extends into the night, into the parade. So if we've got the city looking like a festive place, that's gonna attract a lot more people. And the only parades that we're competing against that night is Claremore and Tulsa. So all the surrounding areas and everybody in Mays County should be here that night. So all of that ties in and works together in conjunction. It drives people here to spend money in our restaurants. I'll tell you that Boomerang last year was, they were completely busy.
Yes.
And we're gonna have all the food trucks, which is gonna drive tax and everything too, so I think it's gonna be great. Yeah.
Thank you.
Can I ask you a question? I know it's been brought up in the past, but since you just mentioned food trucks, do they pay sales tax?
Yeah, they do.
And it's calculated, because sometimes when you order from the food truck, it's just a flat amount, and they don't say, well, it's plus tax, so I didn't know how that,
Yeah,
how do we
A lot of the times.
get that documentation? that
A
they-
lot of the times, they have it included in the price. They pay all the permitting to the city.
Okay,
And whether they pay it just like any other business, that's on them. You know, there's brick and mortars
Right.
that they can make that decision, so it's just like that. But they have all the required permits.
okay, thank you.
You're welcome. Any other questions?
Thank you.
You're welcome.
All right. And just for noting, the inflatable that is in front of the police station that's not inflated right now is
Oh.
incredibly large. Is it
It's up
inflated
there.
right now? Is it? Oh, he's got it inflated? Good job. That was donated to the city, so a local business had that and donated it, and so that's great. We like to see that, so. Further discussion? If not, call for the vote.
Malure,
Yes.
Chitwood,
Yes.
Trammell,
Yes.
Gantier,
Yes.
Smith,
Yes.
Lamar,
Yes,
Shropshire,
Yes.
Bradshaw.
Yes.
Okay. Thank you. Item M, approve the Pryor Creek Police Department to create a full-time narcotics officer position. Do I have a motion for?
Motion.
Motion from Chitwood,
I'll second.
second from Mr. Shropshire.
So I think, I'm not sure on that, since this was put on the agenda. I'm not sure that the verbiage is correct on that. I'll defer it to Courtney for just a moment to explain, and then I'll kind of elaborate from there if you're good with that, or I'll.
Yeah. So the police department's able to create positions within their department as they see fit. So I believe we should change this to acknowledging the creation of the narcotics position. That way we have documentation to submit to the people giving us the grant.
And this
That we
is in-
created the-
in results to the grant that we accepted last council meeting.
Again, as she stated, because this is an administrative action, like for any department, that should be handled internally, not something externally for creating positions. It's not a change in cost or anything else again. So, like I said, we're just making you aware, that's where, with hiring the new officer, if we're allowed to, with the grant, then we will be creating a narcotics position inside the department.
So can we get a change on that motion to accept the verbiage as acknowledging the creation of the position?
This was, yes.
Okay.
I'll second that.
Yeah, that was the concern. We, some of us felt that they could handle that internally, but yes.
All right. Further discussion? If none, call for the vote.
Malure,
Yes.
Chitwood,
Yes.
Trammell,
Yes.
Gantier,
Yes.
Smith,
Yes.
Lamar,
Yes.
Shropshire,
Yes.
Bradshaw.
Yes.
All right. Item 5, Mayor's Report. Item A, discussion and possible action regarding the presentation from Hope for Youth Impact Council regarding an ordinance for youth prevention of tobacco. Crystal Stout and your youth, please come on up.
Thank you.
The youth do have a handout for you.
Good evening. My name is Nicholas Rowland. I, along with all the other youth here tonight, are a part of the Impact Council. The Impact Council is a program under the Mays County Hope for Youth program that works to help prevent tobacco and nicotine use, underage drinking, and substance abuse among youth in Pryor. We are here today to ask you to help us continue our mission of youth prevention by amending the Pryor Creek Youth Prevention of Tobacco Ordinance to reflect the most recent changes passed by Oklahoma that went into effect on the 1st of this month. As a part of the prevention, studies have shown that in most cases, especially with youth, education works better than punishment. Studies have also shown that tobacco, nicotine, and vape products being sold today have much higher levels of addictive additives and therefore youth are becoming dependent on these products more frequently. Knowing what we know about the level of addiction when it comes to these products, Oklahoma legislator voted to amend the Oklahoma Youth Prevention and Tobacco Act to require youth to complete an education in tobacco cessation program as opposed to a fine.
Hello, my name is Aniston Stout. Each of you have been given a copy of Pryor's current ordinance as well as a copy of the new amended state law. In Section A of the Pryor ordinance, we are asking that the words nicotine products be included. Several products being used by youth no longer contain tobacco, but contain nicotine. Therefore, we are asking that these words be added. We are also asking that Section B of the Pryor ordinance be reworded completely to reflect the changes made to the amended state law. If you agree to make the suggested changes, we will work with the city's judicial system and law enforcement to provide a list of free youth educational and cessation programs that are available both online and in our area. Thank you for allowing us to be here today, and we are happy to answer any questions you have.
Could I ask you all to introduce yourself, please? So we know who you are?
My name is Brindley England. My name is Brooklyn Bender.
My name is Blair Taylor.
My name is Brooklyn Rice.
Is there a reason you all have B names?
My name is Lexi Line.
Yay.
My name is Chandler Kennedy.
My name is Lily Holman.
So I first want to say thank you for standing up and taking on this task. It's a big deal. So if we could applaud these youth for you know, it's great to see our youth, our future, trying to make a change, trying to make an impact on the things that affect health and safety of our community. So I thank you. I thank you for coming and waiting your turn to be a part of the council meeting. I think you guys are doing great. Council, I think the discussion is, they're asking us to enter some words into our current ordinance 5-5-4. Mr. McBride, do you have anything on that?
Why do you guys want the town to create a law when there's already a state law in place?
So
Come on over to the microphone, or just grab Chase's microphone.
Since this happens in our town, I'm pretty sure that it would go to the town law of just being a fine, to where then they wouldn't be getting the education that they would be needing, and the help they would be needing. Because the fine, they'll just go right back to doing what they're doing when they have to get paid. But the education will help them further stop that addiction and it'll prevent them from going back to it, hopefully.
Good answer.
Also with that, I want to add that having the city, which we already have, these kids, some of them and some other siblings actually, were up here a few years ago that asked the city to update the youth prevention. So with that, it shows support from the city. Not only that, but if there was an opportunity for a kid to go in front of a local judge, then there's more likely that that kid is going to join the cessation classes, and the prevention works a little bit better than it would if they were just sent to the Office of Juvenile Affairs and gone through drug court. It's more localized prevention.
I'm the chair of the Ordinance and Insurance Committee, and I will get with our city attorney and discuss our options and see what we can do.
Anybody have further comments or thoughts?
Good job.
Yep.
But I do appreciate very much you young people being involved. It's a breath of fresh air.
So do we need to amend our motion to send this to the Insurance Ordinance Committee?
Technically, we don't have a motion. Nobody,
Well, then we can make a motion
Yeah.
to send it. So I'd like to
Make a motion,
recommend.
or they create one themselves in their own committee. Either one.
Sir?
You can either create a new ordinance in committee, or I guess the council could make a motion directing the committee to do so.
I think I'd like that we could direct the committee to,
Yeah, and then we could add that to the agenda.
yes, so can I, would you make that motion to?
I'll make a motion that we will send this to the committee, Ordinance Insurance Committee, to look into the altering of the current ordinance.
Second. I got a second from Mr. Malor. I'm gonna give it to Malor. He did- okay. Second from Malor on that. Did you get all that?
Yeah.
Okay, further discussion? If there is none, we'll call for the vote.
Chitwood,
Yes.
Trammell,
Yes.
Gantier,
Yes.
Smith,
Yes.
Lamar,
Yes.
Shropshire,
Yes.
Bradshaw,
Yes.
Mallory.
Yes.
Youth, thank you for taking place and taking part in our legislative process. That's a big step, and I look forward to how we can change a little bit of Pryor's future. So thank you. We'll give you another round of applause.
And please feel free to come back anytime.
And so feel free to make recommendations on any ordinances. Also, if you can provide the state law like you do on this one every time, that would be wonderful. Makes my life a lot easier.
All right.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thanks for coming. All right. Item B, discussion regarding the status of city general fund and budget with the city accountant, Jeff Coker. Motion.
Motion. Second.
I have a motion from Mr. Trammell and a second from Mr. Chitwood.
Do we need it if it's just
This is just
discussing?
discussion.
That's all right. We'll have that discussion.
Without a motion. We don't need it for this.
Never.
Okay, hello. We will just start with the numbers. First, if you want to look at this one sheet, it doesn't have very much on the front page, because this is basically excerpts from the not quite finished, but pretty close to finished October financial statements. The good news is that the month of October looks like it was a positive amount. So that sounds like that's pretty good. The bad news is the year-to-date figure still is 754,000 negative. But the reason why I want to show you, that's where I got the numbers for this worksheet. And we will discuss that now. So up at the top on the first page, through October 23, you'll see that our revenues were about 2.6 and our expenses 3.35 for a net deficit expenses over revenue by 754,000. Okay, so then I projected what I thought November through June would be, kind of like the 6-month review, but now it's more like an 8-month review or projection. So I did the calculation on the back. I'm not necessarily going to go over that, but I factored out one-time things and factored in known revenues that were 100%, like MUB's share in school. So I came up with that the projected November to June would have 5.8 million revenues, but expenses of 6.3. So you can see the total there, 8.4, and expenses of 9.6 something. And you can see the net deficit projected for the year. Now, of course, this does not reflect any actions on the council. There are also things being planned and whatnot that could affect this. So, but this is just based upon the history of July through October. Now, I want to point out the next section kind of below that. In the first column there where it says 2023, 2024. That is what we're working on. The carry forward was a little over 2 million. The revenues were 8 million, so our budgetable amount was 7.3, giving us a budget of close to $9.4 million. However, if my projection is accurate, hopefully not, hopefully we will do things that will make that number go away. But that will reduce our carry forward to 800,000 or so. So then if you look at next year, with the carry forward of that amount, an increase in revenue, which is nice. That means, though, that our budget would be 8.5 million, a difference, a reduction of $900,000. That's where we're at.
Thank you for putting that together.
If I'm understanding this correctly, we shouldn't be spending money on anything that's not necessary. Period.
Well, correct. The general fund, most definitely. Other funds, I will have to say, other funds in the town, or the city, sorry, are fine. You know, the rec center, fine. Golf course, fine. Street, okay. I mean, it's just the general fund is where we're having the issue. So the general fund is where the expenditures, the savings need to be made.
So even though it's a budgeted item, if we don't need it, we just need to try not to spend if we can help it.
You know, the budget is a legal requirement. We're required to file by the state to the county every year. That's what we have to do. We have to allocate our money in a way that fits our revenues and our carryover, and we report that to the county. But that doesn't mean that we have to spend it. Okay? Yeah. Council approves every major expenditure, and therefore, you know, they can not spend it however they want. But, you know, we have certain limitations, as you can see, that we need to follow.
So what are some of your recommendations on what you think are some good examples that needs to be cut back on
Well,
to save money?
You know, that's not really for me to say because I am not an elected official. Now, I understand that sounds like a cop-out, but it's I don't know.
But you're our accountant and we're paying you to give us advice.
My advice is to cut money back, but where, I don't know. The thing is, what needs to be done is a group of people, and I would be one of them if you wanted me to, need to sit down and look at everything and see what we can do. Right now, I cannot tell you because I do not know. I mean, I got these numbers together and this is where I'm at. Now, as far as what can cut, I don't know. We would just have to look and see. Of course, we also need to, I plan on updating this every month okay? So as soon as November ends, I will be on Courtney to give me the numbers, as she will attest. Have you got the numbers yet? So, and then I will adjust. You know, I do know that it seems like the amount of purchase orders are going down. So we will see next month. So part of it is we need to keep an eye on this, but we need to not spend. You know, I'm not sure, I know there's a hiring freeze personally. I'm not sure I would hire people right now if we don't have to.
So that was gonna be my next question. Common sense would say, do not hire new personnel.
If it's not absolutely necessary, I would say no. But then again, you know, if I could make the decisions, well, never mind.
Now, another thing is that I would think, and some people is gonna disagree with me on this, but it's the little stuff and don't worry about it. But to me, if you're in a budget crunch, a lot of the little stuff that's bought adds up, especially when you're a budget crunch. And I'm gonna be the bad guy here, and I'm gonna talk about donuts, and I'm gonna talk about bills for food at Pizza Hut and JL's Barbecue, and I'm gonna talk about POs tonight for some department that spent a bunch of money at Cheddar's and some other restaurants on travel. To me, that's the kind of stuff that adds up, that is not a necessary expense. And probably cutting back on travel expenses. When I'm saying travel, I'm talking about going out of town to hotel and paying your hotel bills and stuff. That adds up.
Well, I mean, it does, but you know,
And when you're hurting for money,
yeah, no, I understand. I mean, it all adds up, you're right. But one savings of $100,000 for something big, you know, it takes a lot of little things to make up that 100,000. Now, if you could do both, perhaps, then that's fine. But I understand what you're saying. I mean, money needs to be spent wisely.
and in the business practice that we're doing now, where the department's having a credit card to buy all these things, they're already done and bought a month ago or a few weeks before we get the PO to pay for it. I don't know how you can take back your donuts or your Cheddar's
You can't take back the
bills, and
eaten
et cetera.
donuts, that's for sure. I mean, but you can ask them to put a stop to that, you know, and not do it in the future, but.
Can I address
Now,
that?
can,
Go ahead.
second, Charles. So, when you said put a stop to that, is that ultimately the city council is the one that approves the bills?
Yeah.
But who puts the stop to it? The council setting a directive in a resolution or something, say we're gonna cut out unnecessary expenses, or would that be directed to, say, the mayor to direct it down to, from the council to direct the mayor to pass that down?
I think either one of those would probably be
Yeah, it might carry more weight if the entire council does it, because it's all of you, in effect, saying it, as opposed to, you know, one person. But I think either way would probably be sufficient.
I think that could maybe, though, I mean, to say what's necessary and unnecessary, I mean, then you start having all these things, well, is this unnecessary? Do we need to pay for this hotel or this? I mean, I think it could get, I mean, I don't disagree that obviously we need to look at all the little things, but then it can get kind of crazy, like, well, what's necessary and unnecessary? Because what's necessary for one person might feel like, so I don't know.
I mean,
It's
that's
kind
the
of
battle
this
you'll have to
catch.
face, is defining what will be necessary. I mean, that's tough,
Yeah.
you know. Donuts are.
In my former career, we did a lot, working for the government, we did a lot of travel. And travel expenses is high, even for all branches, each agency of federal government, state, et cetera. And if it came down that there was only so much money, for example, in our budget for travel, and we had conferences coming up, et cetera, our boss that controlled all the money said, no, I'm canceling this. There's not enough money for it, and it was that simple.
Yeah,
Because if the money's not there, the money's not there.
I mean,
If you keep spending it, you're gonna lose it and not have any in the end.
yeah, I agree. I mean, if for plans that are out in the future, they can decide yes or no, that it's necessary or not. That's something that the council or the mayor or the department heads need to look at and go, this is what we're gonna do, this is what we're not gonna do, so on.
Mr. Coker, earlier in the year, you came before us and you stated that to save the carryover, if we're gonna save it at all, we're gonna have to cut $100,000 a month money. Is that still the same idea? The reason
Well-
I ask is because it looks like the first month was over 80,000, second month over 185,000, second month was over 350,000. So it looks like we're headed in a hole.
Well, okay, that's why I pointed out, to give you a little bit of good news, was that October was actually positive. So that was nice. Okay, so maybe things will be a little better. Now, for September, I think we need to point out that there are 26 pay periods in your all's fiscal year because you pay bi-weekly, 52 weeks divided by 2, 26. September had 3 payrolls. So it looks overly bad for September because you had an extra payroll. It happens twice a year. The next one is probably March or April, maybe. Okay, but that's why that one looked bad. But when back to 2 payrolls in October, we were in a plus. So barely, but it beats the trend that had been going on. So hopefully, it has been impressed upon enough that, we need to cut back, and things were cut back. Like I said, the number of purchase orders seems to have gone down.
Tremendously, yeah.
Yeah. Okay, so, I mean, that's a good sign. This projection may not reflect that if the slowdown occurred over the period of months and is just now really taking hold, because I would have higher expenses. That's why I'm going to update this every month, and we'll see. Hopefully that projected total will come down, but we'll just have to see. I can't guarantee it. I don't know. Okay?
Do you have something?
Oh, I have a bunch of things. All positive. I think we all need to come together as a council and as the mayor and stop bickering about, are we in a problem or are we not in a problem? The numbers here show there is a potential problem. It's time to put the differences aside, stop bickering, agree we have a potential problem. I call it a problem, but I will go with potential problem, and work as a council to do what the citizens of this community expect us to do. And that's to come up with a solution. To address your, Terry, I think you call it smaller purchases, you call it something.
Little stuff.
The little stuff. I think we as a council need to come together and put parameters on what non-essential spending can and cannot occur. And then put the onus on the mayor, congratulations, to approve, we elect a mayor for a reason, to approve all purchases within the parameters set by this council. I have an idea on what those parameters should be, but I'm definitely open to what others want to hear. At the end of the day, and I said this at the last council meeting, the biggest expense in the general fund is personnel. So I think we could sit here and cut every cost but personnel, but we'd still have to be very, very, very careful this year on what's going on. It's not this number here that's bothering me. this 1.2 million or this 820. It's that total budget estimate that Jeff is projecting for 24, 25. We're going down 900,000. If we don't get our ducks in a row this year, it's gonna be even more painful next year. That's my concern. And I just want to clarify something. I have sat here in this seat and I have said this city is on the verge of bankruptcy. And I have never questioned the street department. I've never any of the enterprise funds, streets, rec center, anything. I have questioned the solvency of our general fund going forward. And these numbers continue to give me concern. However, we've got to realize if the general fund is just that, the fund of the general government, it's our heartbeat of this city. And if it fails for whatever reason or continues to worsen, our city is not going to continue to be healthy. That's what I'm saying. We have got to be extremely careful going forward. So, back to my initial point. Let's stop the bickering. Let's stop are we solvent? Are we comfortable? Are we bankrupt? I'll stop saying we're bankrupt or not on the verge of bankruptcy. And then let's just come together and let's figure out as a council, how do we get these numbers back into a healthy arena? That's all I've got.
Can I add something for you guys? If you guys decide to set any parameters on spending, if I may request it be a monetary amount versus you can only buy certain items.
Nope.
The only reason I say that, I don't care what the monetary amount is I'm just thinking about it for my office. It's gonna create a lot of extra work for my office no matter what. And if we have a monetary amount, it's a lot easier for us to remember what needs to be approved by the mayor. So I don't care what that is, but just take that into consideration if you don't mind.
What my thoughts were whenever I'm saying parameters is if it's not related to the public safety of our citizens, and if it's not essential to meeting day-to-day requirements, it has to come before this mayor to approve it.
So, I appreciate all these comments. I concur. I think one of the things that I'd like to throw out there please understand that as we grow and develop, as Courtney's crew grows and develops and learns these modules through Cassell, we're learning new reports. We're learning new reports that came through that I saw the first time, within the last couple days.
Are you talking about the ones yeah.
Yeah, the mountain of them. It's like a kid who learns how to, play the game and starts sending screenshots of everything. It was.
I kind of did go crazy.
But I will tell you that even after Courtney sent me some reports today, I went in and had a brief discussion with Lisa Lamone, sorry, I said her name wrong, Lisa, and she produced another report that was very beneficial that we've not typically used, that breaks down general ledger by itemization and things like that. These reports are, they're detailed. They're very, very detailed. And as we do that, it's going to allow us to look at the bleed, look at the specific purchases, the specific things that we see that where we last month, for example, we took and subtracted all of the payroll expenses from each department. As a start, we sat down, Courtney and I sat down, we calculated out, all the payroll, all the tax, all the FICA, all of that stuff, and subtracted it from the totals. And the numbers were surprisingly not quite necessarily what we thought. Some of the ones we thought were more were not. And so as we look at that, we have to get on that. That's our side. That's our daily operations of the managing of the city, managing those funds. That's the administrative part of this community is learning how to use those resources to our advantage. And we are 100% dedicated to that. That said, as we go forward, and we identify those, we'll call them a bleed. Is that fair? But you know what I mean if we say the bleeds. We find those bleeds, we need to address them and we need to stop them. I agree with Charles. It doesn't get us anywhere to battle things out. We've got to come up with solutions. If those solutions include, one of my concerns is our reserves. I feel like our reserves are essential to build up. We have to get that. That's our backup. We're running low, so we need to look at any opportunity that we have to build up that money. Now, those funds, if we sell a property or whatever, aren't gonna, correct me if I'm wrong, trying to do what you explained to me, won't show up in a reserve account right away as soon as we sell it. It'll come up as revenues for the year, and then next year, we'll see it on the budget. That balance will increase. And so we've had those discussions. We talk daily. Chase has been brought in on several things that we're looking to relieve of and do and deal with. We talked though tonight, the word that comes up, and I want everybody to keep this in mind, is trends. And trends are not set overnight. Trends are not set, they take time. We have to monitor them. We have to follow them. We have to know when the revenues are coming in versus when we can spend them. And I think as our economy is changing, we're changing, we're trying to get it, we're looking at it. And the reports that we're able to do now, the things that our clerk's department and her trainings have learned, that's gonna help us. And I think we're already starting to see the fruit of some of that labor. And so, we have things that business things we have to do to continue on. And so, from my seat, we'll do what we have to do. But, it's not gonna be an easy road. We knew it was gonna be cleanup, and I think everybody up here, I could probably look and get a head nod that we're all dedicated to making it happen. So let's come up with a game plan. Let's make it happen. Thank you. Further conversation for?
No, I just have a question. Courtney, can you give the council the last years, the 12 months of last year's, the financial statements? So we can, we can kind of compare revenues right now, but the expenses, I'm looking for, as the mayor said, trends, even if it's a 12-month trend on expenses over, last year plus, what are we, 4 or 5 months now into this quarter, so it'd be 16 months. That would give us a pretty good trend on where the costs are and where they're going up.
Do you want those email or do you need a hard copy?
I want mine emailed.
Yeah, I was going to say, I can email.
You want monthly statements?
Speaking of office supplies, right? So, yeah, I think we'll just email those out.
Just as a sidebar, the Department of Defense has, what is it, $200 billion budget? They actually watch things on us like making sure if we're traveling, we only stay at hotels that take tax exempt forms so we don't pay state taxes, lodging taxes. They shut down our printers, and we have to get permission to print, to save paper and ink. I mean, they nickel and dime, and it's unbelievable how much that adds up. It truly is remarkable how much those little expenditures add up to enormous savings over time.
Further discussion?
I would also like to state that I agree with Terry and Charles and whoever else that the little things do add up, and they are very important, that we need to watch anything that's unnecessary.
I think I agree with Charles. If we admit we've got a problem and then recognize we've got a problem, let's quit fighting and start working and trying to fix it. It's not anything we caused, not anything you caused, but we've inherited it and we've got to deal with it.
Further? Thank you.
And based on what the accountant just told us, personnel and hiring is a big chunk of what we need to save. So I just think the council needs to think big picture wise, because we know it's gonna come up again from certain departments. It's gonna be up here in force with a show telling us that we've got to hire. And we've got to realize that we have got to watch the hiring and continue a hiring freeze into the future. I just hope everybody realizes that and takes it serious.
I think we're all pretty serious. I think the tone in here tonight is one of dedication to getting it solved, so.
I'm available anytime, as others have.
And thank you for giving
Yes.
us this information.
Thanks, I really appreciate it.
You're welcome. But I am available if you have questions or want me to sit in on suggestions or meetings or whatever.
Now, to the rest of the world, shop local. Eat your dinner, what's that?
Revenue cures all.
Well, you know, we're going into the busiest shopping weekend of the deal.
I think if I remember right, the sales tax paperwork that you gave us for this last month, I think the use taxes were even down.
They
And
were.
you would think people are still buying stuff online, but I guess
Well, see, most of them
Not.
pay sales tax, so they don't file use tax. Use tax generally is like on construction stuff, and if construction slows down a bit,
Yep.
then you end up that going down, but like if you buy at Amazon, the sales tax, it's sales tax now, so it
Oh,
comes.
it is?
into the
Okay.
sales.
Well, it came out of use tax and went into sales tax?
It used to be people would have to report it themselves way back when Amazon didn't charge sales tax, and that was use tax. But Amazon collects the sales tax, so it comes in through the sales tax.
Straight up sales tax, okay.
Jeff, I have one more question for you, sir, and this, I'm not putting you on the spot tonight. Would you be willing, as a city accountant, to come up with your thoughts on how the city can reach out and start generating additional revenues, additional sources? You don't tell us tonight, and you know, and
Yeah,
think
no,
about
I
it.
can
and
offer
I
suggestions.
would like to hear, I would love to have your suggestions going forward.
Yeah, no, I will work up something. I mean, that's not a problem.
Okay.
Sure.
I've got a question for you, because I've had this question come up from several people that have asked me. With all the dispensaries and marijuana stores, do we get sales tax from that, or is that a state tax that only paid on
Honestly,
it to the
I
state?
am not sure how that works.
Is it considered a medicine, and do we get sales tax?
Well, that's what I'm
revenue from
asking.
medicines?
I don't know. Now, the thing is the city itself has access to, like, I would do confidential sales tax information at the Oklahoma Tax Commission. They can log in, and they can actually go down the list and see who's paying. Now, it's kind of cumbersome, but you can try to find some of these places and see if they are paying sales tax.
Sure.
on that.
But it's not broke down that we get so much from,
No, when we get sales tax money, you get this much. Thank you very much.
That confidential information he's talking about, I am allowed to basically create a report for you guys showing you what types of businesses that sales tax contributes to, and
But
that's
they're not supposed to
in the
show
works,
individual.
but.
But not the individual businesses.
Correct, yeah, I can
Very
just
clear about that.
basically
The
make
types of
you,
businesses.
yeah, like a graph or
Categories.
something like that.
So we could probably find out, based on how they're classified, if they are or not. I'm not sure.
And just for the record, you found that out, what, a week or two ago, or whenever you went to
I
that
think
last week?
right before the last council meeting.
We just found that out. So,
What, the name?
again, these new resources.
No, you're fine.
Oh, I thought I mentioned, anyway,
No.
okay.
So these new resources we're looking at, and so we've also been working with Mr. McBride on things like, we had talked about the liquor tax and all these occupational tax things. We've talked about Airbnbs versus what they, lodging tax. So we're actively looking at that. I think it's safe to say we're going, but we would take any advice anybody has. That's what we're here for, so.
Yeah.
Okay. Any further discussions? All right, thank you, Jeff.
You're welcome.
Good discussion, everybody. I appreciate that.
Thank you, Jeff.
All right. Item C on the mayor's report, discussion and possible action regarding the approval of the application certificate for payment number 28 dated November 7th, 2023 to CMS Willowbrook in the amount of $29,489.17 from an account number to be determined by the city accountant and city attorney based on availability of funds. This,
Sales tax. 4.5, the sales tax applies to cannabis purchases at Oklahoma medical marijuana dispensaries. So yes, it does.
okay.
What's the percentage on it? Does it?
Well, it's just a standard, this talks about the state tax, but
For-
if the
of
state charges it, then everybody else gets charged too, for wherever they're located.
Thank you.
Yes, and do you need me for this one? It says something about the city accountant.
No, I think we're
We
good.
had to put that account number before we got to discuss everything, so we had to put this on the agenda to get it posted.
Right. So this is, this 29,498, I believe that's in your packet, that copy of the pay application. That is for the jail doors that were originally put in as smoke doors. And these are, right, smoke, and then we had to upgrade them to fire. That was approved by the council quite a while back. Those doors are now installed. I believe they've got to get them painted yet, right?
Oh,
So,
Yeah, they took,
they said they did. They're not painted yet?
no, but she's got to get the paint and stuff for that, so, and that was, we were working with Graybird to make sure he had there was a permit that he needed for the paint or something, so that's, now that that's done, we should see that soon, but again, that is just for work that has been done on that item that was approved by the council.
So
Can we have,
this is an additional cost, of course,
I
from
need
what
a-
the
Don't we
original
have to
was.
have a motion?
yeah,
yeah.
can we have a motion and stuff first?
Yeah, I was trying to give a point of clarification there, so, can I get a motion for,
make a motion, and do you have that account number?
It is on the purchase order that Chris has.
Okay,
did you make a motion?
I made a motion.
Motion from Chitwood? Do I have a
I got a
second?
second.
Second from Shropshire? Terry, go ahead.
Where's that at on here?
I'm looking for it.
So this is for 29,489. What was the original cost? Is that the same cost that we already paid once for the wrong jail doors?
I
The
don't-
exact price?
I believe it was. I would have to get that answer for you. I apologize.
So I'm just curious as to how much the difference is total that this is costing us for just this one thing, but I guess we don't have those numbers.
No, and I apologize. I will get that.
Here you
I will-
go.
Oh, wait a minute, here we go.
You got this one right here, this one right here. So that's the,
Oh, okay, so the scheduled value was 29,134, and the paint was 2,090. So what we ended up paying was 27,399.17, and the 2,090 for the paint. You see there in column E, this period in place, and then in column C was the scheduled value.
I guess we bring up the subject again, though. Was it our responsibility to choose the jail doors, or whose fault was it that these weren't the right jail doors?
Well, geez, how far off subject do we get on this one?
I mean, I think you're still talking about whether you pay it, so I think you're still within your realm.
So, Trammell, do you recall, was this a Graber put in the smoke doors?
I believe it was the incorrect, whatever information sent to the state to get the approvals through the fire marshal, if I understood right, with BK at the time, when we was having a discussion. Some of those were put in the correct paperwork or the lack of paperwork sent to the state, I believe. I don't want to give you incorrect information, but I believe that was it.
Okay.
And that was done by the architect, based on the architect's information.
From what I recall, yes, sir.
That's kind of what we thought. This is another one of the gray areas, if we will, of,
So the question I think everybody, the elephant in the room is, Mr. Graber has been absent in everything we've done. 99% of our change orders are due to poor plans that were not reviewed properly. So where do we stand? Let me say it this way. If we were going to pay this, if it gets paid, to pay this in relation to paying this, however that needs to be worded to keep us on topic, do we still have the ability to
Attempt to collect.
correct?
Seek recourse.
Mr. Mayor,
Let him answer.
Just let him answer real quick.
With, I think a lot of what I need to tell you in that should be an executive session.
Can we all respect that? Okay.
But I think I can answer, I don't think paying that would waive any right to anything.
Okay. Chris?
I just wanted to, she was talking about the account number where this would come from is 87-875-5426, if anybody needed that information.
Thank you.
And that is the bond account, so.
There's more to count. I'd like that to be included in my
Now,
motion.
what was that you said earlier? I didn't catch it about the vote.
Paying this does not block us from any recourse.
Okay, that's what I needed.
You don't think?
Think
Is
there-
this the
that a
final
definite-
payment to CMS Willowbrook?
Yes.
Then it would block us from recourse against Willowbrook after 30 days. That's in the contract that they had. I read it in their contract.
And obviously I was not part of the contract. I can tell you there's no, under a statute of limitations or anything, it's not gonna waive anything. Contract was before I was here, so.
When I get home tonight, I'll send you the contract that Mayor Lee signed with CMS and then Mayor Trammell signed with the architect. So you'll have them if you haven't seen them already.
And then, what are you wanting me to look for?
Oh, I just thought you would mind, just for your FYI.
I will
don't
read
want
everything
to,
you
I
send me,
won't
but
send it.
I would imagine you want a purpose for it.
So if I could throw something out real quick. About 3 weeks ago, I reached out to the Oklahoma State Auditor's Office and inquired about the possibility of them doing an audit of the construction projects, emergency services and library. Just to, as we have discussed numerous times, to see if any improprieties occurred, and if they did, where and who caused them. My intent by doing that was strictly to try to get a ballpark figure to bring back to the mayor as an option. However, as I got a call from one of their attorneys. What I'm about to say is not the position of the state auditor's office in any way. I got a call from one of the attorneys, and he and I started talking. And he expressed some concerns about paying any final invoices pending the results of that construction audit. These items on the agenda tonight kind of caught me off guard because I was actually going to email the mayor and you his information so you could at least reach out to him. I'm not an attorney, I don't know.
So, again, I don't know the contract, but this is complete assumption of what he's thinking. Anytime you pay money and then you try to get it back, that's much harder than holding on to the money. So I mean, I don't know exactly what your conversation with him was, but that would be the position of most of my clients whenever there's a invoice of, do we pay this and then do we go after it, or do we just not pay it and hold it?
And
it's much easier to
He gave me that information based on my question was basically, if there are improprieties, do we have the right to go back and get the money? And that's where he said, that he kind of talked around it. But, I mean, this
Well,
is
and you-
29,000. I think if there's any improprieties hanging out there, there's definitely going to be more than 29,049.17.
Sounds
But also keep in mind that this.
You're also allowed to
particular bill
withhold,
is
which
the
I'm
Willowbrook,
probably, go ahead.
Not the architect.
It's the Willowbrook, and then
We've already paid the architect off and he's done.
Title 61
Correct,
also.
so exactly.
Well, and just point of reference, I believe the original contractor, you might know better, you're much better at those long-term memory things. But I do believe the contract read that, with Graber, that he would get 8% of the total cost of the project. So as if we did it,
I already sent them to Chase,
that,
the agreements.
thank you. And so I think as we remember that, go forward and think, a lot of these change orders were due to the plans.
So to put you on the spot tonight,
Yeah,
totally put you on the
great.
spot tonight. Would you recommend we approve this 29,000 for payment? Being able to go back and recoup any funds that we need to in the event we do an audit and that audit shows we are due monies for whatever reason? Or do you need to think about this?
And to
Well, I mean,
piggyback that.
you're here, we gotta make a decision, so I think what I would advise at this point is not to approve it. primary reason is if you don't approve it, are they really gonna file a lawsuit against you in the next 2 weeks before the next meeting? I don't think so. I don't think that's realistic, so I don't think the damage of not approving that tonight and tabling it to do more research, the harm's not gonna be there. In the meantime, let me review those contracts, see what our recourse would be if we were going to take some of those things. I think a lot of what I would probably have to say about this should be executive session, though.
Agree.
So maybe.
Can I ask Chase to kind of to follow up on that? I think, is it this thing that's on our agenda tonight about the Willowbrook allowance modification for the contingency funds portion of that? Is that where they're ready to give us back?
Correct.
Okay, so
The 270.
if we hold off on that payment with them in that, can they probably hold off on giving us the rest of our money back?
Probably can, yeah, I think
So you have to think about that.
each party are allowed to offset.
Well, and keep in mind, like Terry said, this payment is to Willowbrook for work that they have completed, that the council did approve.
Mr. Mayor, let me ask a question. I'm kind of more confused than normal.
That's all right.
Is this for the jail doors only, or is this for the total project?
The 29,489 and 17 cents is for the jail doors that the council approved. I'm just throwing that in for point of reference. That the council approved to do. So the council gave the approval to Willowbrook to do this job. It's done. It's been approved.
So this is the end of Willowbrook then after this payment, or this just the jail doors?
We don't have anything else scheduled that should cost us anything.
So it would be the final invoice.
Yeah, that's what I would guess is what I
Because
was
it
asking.
did say in their contract, we would have no recourse against them so many days after the
So-
final payment.
I think what we'll do.
It doesn't sound like Willowbrook is who, well, I'll let you guys figure
Not
it
that we
would
know
say-
of.
I don't,
Council, if I could
Probably
make a
said more than we
recommendation,
should
I would say let's table this, this item, to the next council meeting, pending, the research that needs to be done on this contracts, and at that point, we could come back in discussion in an executive session on the next council meeting, what recourse we need to do and what action we need to take, and we could come out of that executive session and make that decision then. Is that fair, Mr. Pryor?
it's fair, and just so everyone knows, Courtney is on top of it.
Thank you.
Already sent me the contracts in the middle of this discussion.
It pays
You're
to be
off
the
the hook.
record holder.
Question on that too.
Yes.
Since this is the last payment, well, we're gonna hold off on paying that to them. But say we did pay it tonight, or we paid it next council meeting. They still have things that they have to get done that they say they're gonna do, like the ceiling tile, stuff like that. Once they get their last payment, they're done. They're probably just gonna say, sayonara, we're out.
I
And
will,
we're not gonna get the stuff fixed again that they told us unless it's in writing.
I can talk a little bit about that. Mayor and I have talked about the warranty and how to handle that situation if there's an issue. I guess, not that it would resolve the issue, but the mayor is aware of that exact issue, I can tell you.
Yes. And there's, like I said, there's the email correspondence back and forth where they've acknowledged and recognized the lists. Captain Trammell over there, Mr. Make-A-List, had a, 2-page front and back list of things, and they have that. They've written their response as to the items that were warrantable versus the items that are not warrantable, the things that need to be fixed and not fixed, and so we have that back and forth in email, so.
I believe I'd be a lot more comfortable with what you suggested, to give it 2 weeks to look into it.
Yeah.
Well, then why don't you make a motion?
Randy
We
needs
already
to
got
change,
one.
Randy
Well,
needs
we'd
to
have to-
change his to table.
Who did that?
Randy,
Someone
I'll
else can
second it.
make it to table if you want to write it.
I know you're nervous. I haven't disagreed with you all night, but it's not over.
It's all right, Bruce. So, did you say you would,
Recommendation is to table.
I'll second it. I'll change mine.
did you get all that, Courtney?
Getting it now.
It was kind of lengthy, so when you're ready, call for that vote.
Trammell,
Yes.
Gantier,
Yes.
Smith,
Yes.
Lamar,
Yes.
Shropshire,
Yes.
Bradshaw,
Yes.
Malure,
Yes.
Chitwood.
Yes.
Mayor,
Yes, sir.
can I ask Carrie a quick question in pertaining to the building project?
Yeah. Harry, can you ask me a
Police and
question?
fire have told us that they still have some things to take care of. Is your building tip-top and you're done with it and you're happy with everything they've got? No, nothing to be fixed?
No, they are working on, some of the caulking around the windows in the museum, making sure that those are watertight and also cosmetically appealing.
Which they're not, right?
They're not.
I know, I saw it.
And now that I'm up here and have said that, I forgot the rest that we talked about. There are some ceiling tiles that need to be replaced. Most of our stuff is pretty minor.
There were some grout issues, I believe we talked to her about.
Right, and I know that technically I'm on vacation this week, but I know that CMS was at the library today. And they borrowed the drawings that we have at the library, so they were looking at the other things that they need to do. So, and I don't know, I haven't gotten the response for their walkthrough of the library yet. I don't know if they sent that to you, but I haven't gotten it yet. So I'm not sure what is on their radar. The windows for sure. I'm gonna be annoying about that.
Thank you.
I have a quick question. A few months back, we discussed the parking lot issue. I have not gone back to look and see if they've addressed it. Remember they had some problems with the parking lot?
Are you talking about when it was flaking off?
It looked all funny and stuff, yeah.
Yeah, so when they did the overlay of the parking lot the first time, I don't know what happened, but everything basically flaked off. And they have gone back, they cleaned it, and they went back and put it back on, and it's holding up just fine.
Okay, thank you.
It's good now.
Thank you.
And I will say that Brenna, I'm sorry, I don't remember her last name. She's been very cooperative in this process. So, you know, I haven't at any point felt that there's an animosity or a refusal to do. I do think that she is a businesswoman that will look at what is warrantable and what is not warrantable. For her own business, she has to protect herself, but I think the relationship there is sturdy enough and strong enough that she'll do what she agreed to.
Well, and I will say too that she's not beholden to me, but she answers my phone calls, if that helps you feel better about it. I don't hold any money from her, but she still does answer my phone calls when I call. So,
Thank you.
Thank you.
thanks.
All right. Item D, discussion and possible action regarding CMS Willowbrook Incorporated, change order number 7, final deduction to return unused funds in the amount of $270,432.04.
I make a motion to table.
Would we just table all of these, Mr. McBride? Would that be the?
It is up to you guys on what you want to do. I mean, if someone's trying to give you money, I don't know why. But
I think we go ahead and try to sign it.
that being said,
you-
I have not read the contract.
Well, the reason I was saying that, if this is part of their deduction on there, will that be?
It is not. That
It is not,
270 is a
okay.
final
Well,
number.
I'll make a motion then.
Fireman anyway.
Okay, so we have a motion from Mr.
I
Shropshire.
think so, but if you're tabling the other, I mean,
I'll
I need
second.
The table is
clarification. You
off,
want
so
a motion
Just a straight motion
to what? To approve?
to approve, yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
Yes, motion to approve.
And I'll second the approval.
Discussion?
Yes.
Yes.
What, this $270,432, what are we gonna do with that money?
Buy donuts?
He must have been waiting for that, because that was.
He's been
waiting for a long time, because he was
Hey,
quick. He
it
was
wouldn't
real
surprise me.
Listen,
Yeah.
Jeff, you still alive back there? Did you just croak out on that one? So the intent is, we would like to make sure that we can do the right thing with that money. Whether that means we have to put it right back into the payment, whether that means we can take care of some of not finances, some of the.
Reserve.
No, give me a minute.
It has to stay in that
Accessory
line.
It has
to
to
the
s-
building.
Thank you, that's the best way. You know, we have a furniture lease. You know, I'd like to find out if we can apply it to that and get out from under that lease. I'd like to find out what we can do. I'd also,
Sorry.
It has to stay in that.
it has to stay,
It can't go to
That's
the
my
general
point.
budget.
we're not gonna be using it to,
Actually buy donuts.
Or by,
I know.
we get the idea, we're done. Okay, so the idea is we wanna make sure that
It's
we
gonna
have-
go towards something on that building debt. That's
Absolutely,
what-
even if,
Not only that. but
even if
for
the
money
possibility,
left over there.
even if the possibility is there that we can put that money in for potential repairs for the building or what? That'll be a conversation with bond council probably, financing community, see what we can do, but, we're not going to just,
But it cannot go to the general budget.
no,
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 that
it has to
cannot
stay
happen.
in that
It has to
87.
stay in that.
Can it go towards, can it go towards the, construction audit that we voted on doing a while back?
I doubt it. I've reached out to them for clarification on exactly what we need to do, but it's also holiday week, so we have to wait.
So that, we can ask that question, in respect, we can ask it, but I'm pretty sure.
Unless
that-
it's in the budget already for that construction audit that we
It's not a
voted to
capital,
approve.
that's not a capital.
Right.
It has to
So-
be a capital.
Okay, thank you.
So, you know, if we have to sit on this money for a little bit, till we figure out how and where and what we can do, my goal would be get out from underneath that furniture lease, and maybe have the money,
And
that
maybe
it-
police cars too, they're on the lease too.
well,
That's a
That's
different.
not part of the building
Not part
though.
of the building.
but,
That's
but
not
what we
part of
could
It's
see
part
is,
of the,
No, you can't do, it has to go into that building.
see if we could maybe
That was
have
a
that
lot.
money in a
What we
reserve
voted on
for
was include that.
repairs down the road, or incidentals, or whatever, things that are no longer warrantable. But we have to ask, we have to see what we can do.
Thank you.
Either way, we'll make sure that the council is 100% aware of that, so.
So Chase, so back to you. If we do approve the return and they return it, does it indemnify them from any future liability?
Not unless there's something in the contract.
And I don't remember reading that. I do remember where we paid them the final payment. but-
30 days.
What it will do is not allow us to have any more change orders, because they won't have any more contingency funds.
Right.
That'll be done. So anything going forward that we would have to do, which we likely are not going to without, you know, I think we're gonna get into a situation where that would come out of pocket from here out.
But we don't anticipate that.
No, but again, that's why I say if we could,
Would've been in there.
if we have that money aside, and we have a small reserve for that, and that's an option, then that basically gives us our own contingency money, you know what I'm saying?
But all these final, what is it called, the punch list, I think? All these items on the punch list for both emergency service and lumber, that's on them. I mean, that's,
Correct.
that would not involve a change order.
Correct. And I think we've been through enough in all the buildings. Carrie's satisfied with what she got. But at this point in the game, we're not gonna have any more change orders. So, I think,
Chase, did you want to look at it, the contract, before even taking action on this one, or?
There's no harm in letting me look at the contract, I'll say that. I don't expect they're going to, not offer the money in 2 weeks, but I don't know the answer to that.
just my opinion, I know that we're trying to be protective of what going forward, but I also don't feel that CMS Willowbrook is going to do something that's gonna, I don't feel their corporate intent is to do us harm or any malice. I feel like they're, you know, everything we've discussed with them, they've done for the last year and a half. Every meeting we've had where they've been drilled, have they been satisfied and not frustrated? No, it drives them nuts to be drilled, but they answer the questions. They've been at every time we beckon them, they come. They've done well, and the relationship there is strong now. So, you know, whatever the council decides on that, that'll be that's your guys's. My recommendation would be we try to get it back.
What is the motion? To try to get it back?
To try to
Currently,
get
the
it back.
motion is to approve.
To approve it. Further discussion on that? So do we know what we're voting for?
As it's stated.
Correct. Yep. So if there's no further discussion, please call for the vote.
Gantier,
Yes.
Smith,
yes.
Lamar,
Yes.
Shropshire,
Yes.
Bradshaw,
Yes.
Malure,
Yes.
Chitwood,
Yes.
Trammell,
Yes.
Okay, item E, thank you. Discussion and possible action regarding CMS Willowbrook Incorporated allowance modification number 115. Move allowance and contingency funds to contingency CO5.
Make the motion.
A motion from Chitwood,
I'll second.
second from Shropshire. Discussion?
Explain this a little bit better to me. I'm having a Bruce moment.
I'll have one right next to you, too.
So this is actually moving that allowance and contingency fund. You guys are approving it to be moved to us.
Okay.
Further discussion, questions? Call for the vote.
Smith,
Yes.
Lamar,
Yes.
Shropshire,
Yes.
Bradshaw,
Yes.
Malure,
Yes.
Chitwood,
Yes.
Trammell,
Yes.
Gantier.
Yes.
Item F, discussion and possible action regarding a skate park. Do I have a motion for discussion and possible action?
Motion.
Motion from Shropshire,
Second.
second from Malure. So the discussion on this one is kind of a little interesting. We have discussed, it's been passed through the park board to present this skate park. We have a promissory donation from Cherokee Nation. But Cherokee Nation, correct me if I'm wrong, Cherokee Nation can't give that till they know that the project is going through. And the project is kind of sitting on the fence because funding. So there are funds available in the capital outlay for the park that is not general fund. But in order to move forward to get the $30,000 from Cherokee Nation, the council has to recognize the project and acknowledge that, and then Cherokee Nation would donate $30,000 to that.
And what is the cost of the state park?
Frank, come on up here.
And while he's coming, my question is, did I read that map, that it's gonna be real close to the splash pad?
It's going to replace the volleyball court. We're going to get rid of the volleyball court, and that's for the skate park.
And there'll be fencing and stuff to make sure.
Yeah, park board's already kind of made it clear they want to leave the fencing up.
Cause I can see the littles
Yeah.
running over there and getting hurt, that worried me.
So the drawing that company gave us, there's like 2 phases, and so the park board approved the phase 1. I think it's what,
92,000?
92,000? And then basically the donations from Cherokee Nation would pay for all the concrete pad and material, for the pad, concrete and remodeling.
And I believe we've also had other individuals, businesses in the community, offer to try to get us the best rate on concrete, et cetera, stuff like that.
Yeah.
I think we found our price is still cheaper.
Yeah, if it's cheaper, he's willing to help us out by doing it cheaper.
What's the
Worst
total?
case scenario, huh?
What's the total cost of the whole thing?
So the whole thing, I think phase 2 is only like 42,000.
49.
49? Okay.
Total of 142 between the two.
Okay, 142. So phase 2 would be next year or whenever year after. This drawing accommodates, from the very first one I got from the company, this one accommodates all ages, bicycles, scooters. It's more, for
More
everybody.
generic for better use.
And all of it, including phase 2, will fit in that fenced-in area.
Oh, and actually there'd be plenty of room if we wanted to add on down the road. Yeah. It'd be the whole 100 by 120 area.
So it's 142,000 for both phases. And this phase will just be how much? 92 minus 30 from the Cherokee Nation?
Well, the 92's for the skate equipment. So that'll, and we budgeted 119,000, I think, in my capital outlay.
Correct.
And so the concrete pad we gotta pour is gonna be, I think we had it figured, how concrete goes, around 28,000. So the money from Cherokee Nation basically is gonna go.
Just for the concrete?
go for the pad.
But the Cherokee Nation's not paying until it's all done. They will not
I've
pay
talked to
to
them,
start.
until we approve it and show we're going forward, I guess they've been bit on giving money ahead of time. So they just wanna show that we've approved the project, we're going forward, then they
When I
will.
talked to the counselor, his words were the check is ready.
Yeah.
It's ready, and it's earmarked for this project for Pryor.
So how much money is in our capital outlay account?
119.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's the 119.
Okay.
And if you remember the original plan, I think we came to for the full phase was like 192.
Yeah,
and-
the first
And we were
plan was
shooting high.
amazing, but it's more advanced, you know.
And also the company is based out of Joplin. So they're, when you look at, nationally, that's kind of local. They were a sole source for this type
Yeah,
of
there's a
provider.
sole source letter and it's like a 20-year warranty. So when I done some research, like Claremore, Collinsville, they went on about this company, because Claremore's had theirs for like 15 years, and he said there's not a year went by that they'll just call and, check, make sure everything's fine, blah, blah, blah.
Will, how will you handle maintenance on it? Is that gonna put any extra, is there required maintenance that has to be done on
Well,
this
I mean,
thing?
we would do kind of with the splash pad every day, we, blow it off or wash it off and blah, blah, and so with the skate park. Main thing we can do, check for loose bolts, nuts, keep it clean.
Is there currently lighting?
There is lighting in one corner of the volleyball court and we're looking into additional lighting.
So right now, it'll just basically be during daylight hours only then?
I mean, there's 2 floodlights there.
That are
We're
working?
looking, he's got a chance to get some grant money in the next calendar year, but we're looking into that right now through GRDA.
Okay, and then what about, will this increase our liability insurance any?
No.
For a clause on it or a?
Well, it requires more employees,
No.
No.
so you
The way I look at it, it's kind of like a hotel pool. You put up a sign, no lifeguards on duty, you do it at your own risk. So the only way we would ever be is if there's a loose nut or bolt and we, like neglect, we missed it. But other than that,
well, that's gonna eat up most of that capital improvement fund, isn't it?
It'll eat up a chunk of it, yeah.
This is what you budgeted it
but
for, correct?
that's all I budgeted for in capital outlay was towards the skate park.
You don't have anything else?
No pickleball?
It's already got bought.
We done
Just
pickleball,
waiting for
huh?
the holes to be drilled. I've done receipt, the lines have been painted and.
We did receive a grant through, Mr. Crisp was element in that,
Yep.
so we appreciate that.
I'm not opposed to this, but I would like a little time just to look at it a little bit, just to wrap my head around all the details and make sure everything, but, I mean, I'm not opposed to it. I just would like to look at it next council meeting and make a final decision. This is a big decision.
Yeah, I'm still thinking about our accountant report too, about the money situation. I don't know if we wanna jump up.
This is out of
The only
capital
thing I would
outlay.
say
This is a
for
different account.
company is like the material,
Is it?
I think it's like about 3 months out, like from the time, the longer it goes, it will be, and, they said it takes about 3 months to get the material.
I think point of recognition is that, like Frank said, this is his capital outlay. There's monies that were specifically budgeted for this. It's not general fund, but, most years it's a toy, meaning slide, gym set. This year it's a skate park. And so, I think it's a great, the response that I've heard back from the community is they're excited that the city is recognizing the need for something recreational for our youth. And I think, we've gone back, we've revamped, we took it down. I think what the plan is, a former life of mine, I ran a bike shop and these were things that we did. And I think the layout is tremendously awesome for a first phase. These items are composite material. Excuse me. And like we said, they could be added to, just like we've added to with the splash pad. We get some extra funds and say, hey, let's add a ramp. Well, they'll make us a ramp and they'll come put it on.
So the 92,000, they come in, they install, it's all turnkey, we just do the concrete.
There's a lot of people that go to Claremore. I mean, I hear a lot of people that, they have to go to Claremore if they want to, so they gotta load their stuff up. So it'd be nice to have some.
Collinsville, Claremore, I went to several places and none of them had any regrets.
Right.
They said,
So probably you need this fairly quickly though, because it'd be great to have it spring and summer next year,
Yes,
right? Is it
longer,
about,
yeah.
what, 3 to 6 months probably to get it started, usually with the playground or something, yeah? Okay, so the sooner.
Further discussion? Let's call for the vote.
Lamar,
Yes.
wait a minute. What are we exactly doing?
Approving, moving forward on the skate park.
Okay, just making sure.
Is
Lamar.
is that as per the plan that's in the packet?
Yes,
Mhm.
for phase 1.
So this is just for phase 1?
Correct,
Okay.
just phase 1.
92,000.
Lamar,
Yes.
thank you. Shropshire,
Yes.
Bradshaw,
Yes.
Malure,
Yes.
Chitwood,
Yes.
Trammell,
Yes.
Gantier,
Yeah.
I'm sorry, can you say that?
Yes.
Thank you. Smith,
No.
Thank you, guys. Thank you. All right, item G, discussion and possible action regarding a quote in the amount of $5,133.52 from Mike's Tire and Car Care to replace the transmission on a 2015 Chevy Tahoe. Be paid out of police vehicle maintenance account 02-215-5092. Other quotes received, Suburban Chevrolet in the amount of $5,391.56. Pryor Chevy Buick GMC in the amount of $5,509.82. All quotes included a 3-year or 100,000-mile warranty.
I'll make the motion.
No second.
We have a motion from Gantier and a second from Chitwood. Discussion?
What do we have in that account?
53,052.19.
Can you say
Okay.
that a little louder?
Well, this was as of 30 September, $53,052.19.
Okay, thank you.
Yes, sir.
I should have already had that.
Okay. Further discussion? If not, call for the vote.
Shropshire,
Yes.
Bradshaw,
Yes.
Malure,
Yes.
Chitwood,
Yes.
Trammell,
Yes.
Gantier,
Yes.
Smith,
Yes.
Lamar,
Yes.
Thank you. Item H, discussion and possible action regarding a decrease in the residential natural gas rates inside the corporate city limits of Pryor Creek from 10.724 per MCF to 8, did I say that right? 10.724 per MCF to 8.30 per MCF, effective December 23 building.
So moved. Second.
Oh,
Too
that was a
fast.
lot of you.
Motion on.
Yeah, everybody's been
Everybody's
part of
All
that.
right, who hasn't done one in a while? Motion from Shropshire and a second from Chitwood. Mr. Chase, or Crisp, sorry.
Figure since I was decreasing, they go smooth. I'll give you a quick history. So our contract ended end of October. We got it locked in. We had it locked in for 12 months, and it was kind of locked in high because at the time, the war in Ukraine and Russia was going, and everybody's like, oh my God, gas prices are gonna go up and go up. So it was locked in, and gas prices kind of stayed flat, which is a good thing. So we got out of that contract, and now we are, I locked us in for 6 months. So here's the deal. I gotta lock in something, because if not, I'm gonna be coming to you monthly, and I'm gonna be going to my board monthly to change the rates on a monthly basis. So, I don't wanna do that. You don't wanna see me every month, and, you know. So, what we did, we locked it in for 6 months through April, 25% of our load. So if gas prices keep staying flat, it's gonna be, we're gonna be able to calculate part of the lower price with our price we got locked in, and it could come down a little more, and then I will adjust the PGA as necessary. And right now, with where we're at, wholesale rates going down, but transportation rates going up. So just a little bit of history. We pay ONG for our transportation of the natural gas. We pay Blue Mark Energy for the wholesale price for them to transport that gas from point A to point B. So back in 2019, they changed their tariff, and unfortunately, I say unfortunately, it's kind of a pro and con. Unfortunately, they kind of left us off to the side, didn't really care about us. Our transportation was basically at 0.205 cents per MCF, or per MMBTU. Well, they hit me up early last year saying, guess what? We've had some rate increases. You guys kind of just been left off to the side. We need to catch all those up. And it was gonna change it from 0.205 to 1.10. And I was like, yeah, I can't do that. My customers, I threw a fit at them. There were some words that probably shouldn't have been said, but we got through it. So what we agreed upon, and what Mr. Harris, my chairman of the board, and the board approved, and what they approved of theirs, because they could have said, no, forget you guys. This is our bad. You just got to start paying it. And I was like, no, we can't do that, just for the fact that the customer's already paying a high unit price as was. So what we agreed upon was we're going to throw half of that adjustment in July 1 of 2023. So we've kind of been holding on to that, knowing that we're going to our contract was up, and I was going to come with you one time only for this. And come July, so it went from 0.205 to 0.65 starting now. July 2024, it's gonna go up to about 1.10. So you'll be seeing me again in July. Hopefully gas prices are still stable, because my contract ends in April with Blue Mark Energy, and I will lock in another amount. So with that, in case you guys kind of wondering how much gas we sold back in fiscal year 2022, 2023, we sold 307,000 units. So, you fluctuate that by 10, 20, just say 10 cents, that's 30 grand. It's a lot of money. So what we do is we're talking about inside city limits. So y'all approve this, I'll take it back to my board to say that you guys approved it, I'll approve that rate. And then outside city limits, I will adjust the rate the same amount. They pay a little bit more because they're further out, I got, take it further. So in case you're wondering, what's the consumption inside versus outside? Inside, we have about 94.8% of our loads inside city limits. I'm sorry, 94.2, 5.8% is outside city limits. So what's this mean to the average customer? Average customer may use 5, may use 10, depends on the time of the year. Like when it was cold, really cold, I used 20 units. You drop that down 2.4 cents times 40, that's pretty good. Or times 20, that's, $45, so average customer, 5 units, $12 basically, round it up. 10 units, $24. So they're gonna they should see a substantial decrease on their bill. And with that, I will entertain any questions you may have.
Outstanding.
Yep.
All right. Very well explained, thank you.
Thank you.
All right. No further discussion or question, we'll call for the vote.
Bradshaw,
Yes.
Malure,
Yes.
Chitwood,
Yes.
Trammell,
Yes.
Gantier,
Yes.
Smith,
Yes.
Lamar,
Yes.
Shropshire.
Yes.
Okay. At this point, we'll go to the addendum, we'll knock these out, and that'll give you guys a break while we're taking care of items number 3 and 4 on the addendum. Item number 1, discussion and possible action regarding TriStar Construction LLC. Change order number 2 for street rehabilitation project phase 2 in the amount of $300. Oh, there's some numbers there. Hang on a minute.
Oh, goodness.
Either the comma's in the wrong place or we have an extra number.
No, that's a Scrivener's error somehow. Do you have that total number?
Yeah, let me pull it up in my emails really quick.
Yeah, I noticed that. I tried to call.
12,372.93.
12,372.93 cents is what's on the.
6
So the 6, is that
Six
wrong?
is extra, yeah.
6 should be out.
There you go, Mayor.
You got it?
$12,372.93. Thank you. So Scrivener's error there, we'll remove that 6. Do I have a motion?
Motion.
A motion from Chitwood,
Second.
second from Mr. Malure. So basically on this change order, we had to add some drainage to one of the projects that we did there in phase 2. And then we also deducted some striping that wasn't necessary. So there was a give and take on there, but Mr. Burke requested the change order for $12,372.93.
Mayor, I Is Buddy still here?
No.
I called Buddy this afternoon to ask him what this was all about, and he told me an answer completely different than what you just said.
What did Buddy tell you?
Buddy told me that they completed the project and that there was some issues that they discovered, I think, on the south end that had to do with some sort of concrete not being in the original, added into the engineer's estimate from our previous engineer. So therefore that it was a mistake that was left out because of an engineer error.
Okay. So that's,
And that they have to go back in and fix that and add it.
well, it
because
may
wasn't
be,
on the
it
original.
may have been an error from the previous engineer, but if you look at the change order, what's documented is 2-inch asphalt overlay. There was the revised total that gave a return of 2,250.45, and then the 5-foot wide cross drains, and that's what Mr. Burke told me several times this last week. So we had to go in and add that drainage to take care of that, and so that is the one where we passed off part of the project to the county with that maintenance agreement. And so for reference, that's also Gaither Road and North Taylor.
So it's not just for the trailer park? Because Buddy said it was specifically on the trailer park.
I believe it
where
was
this
in
error was.
the drainage was added to the trailer park. But that phase 2, that project was, and that's what I was saying, is the one that included Gaither and the trailer park, and so.
What happened as they came out of the trailer park, the Fifth Street, right there was a wider spot there that used to be there so that they could make a turn to get the trailers in, and they forgot it. It wasn't there. So they weren't gonna be able, there was nothing there for them to drive in on, so that's where the
Cross
drainage
drains,
part
yeah.
is, yeah.
So that's what that is.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, no problem, no problem. Further discussion? Call for the vote.
Malure,
Yes.
Chitwood,
Yes.
Trammell,
Yes.
Gantier,
Yes.
Smith,
Yes.
Lamar,
No.
Shropshire,
Yes.
Bradshaw.
Yes.
Okay. Item 2, discussion and possible action regarding any expenditure in the amount of $3,564.85 to Agriland FS Incorporated for the fuel to the Pryor Creek Police Department from Pryor Gas and Oil account 02-215-5102.
Motion.
Motion from Chitwood,
Second.
second from Malure. We put this on here because as of right now, we don't have any kind of resolution in place on how we want to take care of that going forward. My recommendation would be that the council allow those invoices to be paid just as normal as we would the previous fuels without having to bring it. Isn't that kind of what we talked about?
I don't think I was brought into this.
Okay, well, you weren't brought into this one then. So that bill came in today. We wanted to put that on there also to show you guys what that cost was on our fill-up. So we need just approval to pay that. Further discussion? Any discussion? Call for the vote.
Chitwood,
Yes.
Trammell,
Yes.
Gantier,
Yes.
Smith,
Yes.
Lamar,
Yes.
Shropshire,
Yes.
Bradshaw,
Yes.
Malure.
Yes.
All right, item 3, possible executive session pursuant to the Oklahoma Open Meeting Act for the purpose of discussing the grievance between the FOP Lodge 116 and the city of Pryor Creek.
Motion
Second.
to enter.
Motion to enter executive session from Chitwood and a second from Gantier. The rest of you can take a break after we call for the vote.
Thank you. Trammell,
Yes.
Gantier,
Yes.
Smith,
Yes.
Lamar,
Yes.
Shropshire,
Yes.
Bradshaw,
Yes.
Malure,
Yes.
Chitwood.
Yes.
I should have abstained, and I didn't have to do it.
Oh, that's good.
be mad. Talking about getting mad.
All right, let's, item number 4, consider resuming regular session, no action taken during executive
I
session.
make that motion.
Too slow there, Chitwood. We got a motion from Gantier and a second from Malure. Call for vote.
Gauthier,
Yes.
Smith,
Yes.
Lamar,
Yes.
Shropshire,
Yes.
Bradshaw,
Yes.
Malure,
Yes.
Chitwood,
Yes.
Trammell.
Yes.
Okay, city attorney's report. Item A, discussion and possible action regarding an ordinance amending the Pryor Creek Unified Development Ordinances to include an additional rear setback for accessory buildings and outbuildings. Second reading was waived at the November 7th, 2023 council meeting. No vote was taken for approval of the ordinance.
Motion.
Motion, second.
I have a motion from Chitwood and a second from Gantier.
To do what?
To approve.
We had like it says, we had the first and second readings, but nobody approved anything after
I
that.
just wanted to clarify what that motion was for.
Yeah, motion for approval that we didn't do at the last meeting, or at the last reading. And to waive the reading.
We don't have to worry about that. We did that already.
So we are just approving.
Just approving.
Okay. Discussion? If none, call for the vote.
Smith,
Yes.
Lamar,
Yes.
Shropshire,
Yes.
Bradshaw,
Yes.
Malure,
Yes.
Chitwood,
Yes.
Trammell,
Yes.
Gauthier.
Yes.
Okay. Item B, second reading, discussion and possible action regarding an ordinance amending 1-6-5 Personnel Board, redesigning the construct of the Personnel Board.
Motion to waive reading.
Just to waive the reading.
And approve.
That's not on there, so I don't think we can actually vote on it. It's not in the.
It's saying second reading and discussion and possible action regarding amending it.
Ken, if that's acceptable, yes.
Yeah, I think you're good.
Yeah, we're good there. Okay, so motion from Gantier,
I'll
Right.
second it.
second from Bradshaw. Hey, look at you go.
Jumping in there.
Go girl. All right.
Got me quick tonight, though.
All right, do we have discussion on that?
Yes, I have a question.
Yes, sir.
Refresh my memory, this was the one that just changed the language to extend the terms of office out
Correct.
to a certain point. Since we had not approved this ordinance yet doing that, all of the items on the consent agenda about those people's nominations with those terms ending, has that put the cart before the horse where we did that without the ordinance being approved?
I think they'll fall into the new ordinance.
So the motion in the consent was to put those people on it. This is just to change the duration of the seat.
Yeah.
So we should be okay.
I do.
So you're saying then that the terms of office that were approved are gonna change with this new ordinance?
So these terms on the consent agenda, we took in mind the change that was going through.
Before it was even approved?
We could have created more chaos doing it the other way.
Okay. Thank you for the explanation.
I think the only one it would have affected would have been Lloyd Jackson.
I think that's right.
Should we, for parliamentary sake, redo that one? Or is it okay?
I think you'll be fine. I don't think it'll be an issue.
Further discussion? If none? Call for the vote?
Lamar,
No.
Shropshire,
Yes.
Bradshaw,
Yes.
Malure,
Yes.
Chitwood,
Yes.
Trammell,
No.
Gauthier,
No.
Smith.
No.
There's 4 noes and 4 yeses.
Yes.
Is that the time? Is that what you've already got?
Pardon?
The time? Is that what you're, okay.
Okay. Item 7, committee reports. Budget and personnel.
12:12.
12. Okay. Will you need anything special for that meeting? Are you good?
I don't know of anything.
Uh,
Should I need something special?
No,
What were you asking?
Listen, I'm just asking. Literal question, yep.
Okay.
Item B, ordinance and insurance.
Wasn't it the 29th we discussed?
Yeah, I believe so.
And the time was
5:30?
5:30.
November 29th?
Yes.
Yeah, November.
11/29, yeah.
I'll make sure I stick that on my calendar.
And do you need anything special for that meeting, Chris?
Just,
I know it's not a normal question, I'm just,
just the agenda.
okay. And item C, street and maintenance.
12:26.
That's a busy day.
Did you say 12/28?
26.
Well, it seems like last council meeting, because I put it on my calendar, you said it was gonna be on the, at the last council meeting, you said it was gonna be on the 28th,
Moved it to Thursday, I thought.
is what I have in my notes. I don't know if that's,
Well, let's see here. I did say the 28th. 26 is our normal.
29th at 5.
5:30, I think.
What do you want to do?
26th is a Sunday.
Tuesday? No, Tuesday?
Yeah, it's Tuesday.
28th is a Tuesday, yes.
28th is a Tuesday?
No, 20's the Thursday.
26.
26 is.
Somebody's got a calendar somewhere.
Wait a minute, what is,
Christmas
29th is a
Monday.
Yeah.
December
Yeah.
26th.
26 is on a Tuesday. December
Yeah.
26 is Tuesday.
you're right.
Okay, so it's December 26th, Tuesday.
Yes.
Okay.
Glad I'm not on that committee.
Do you need anything special? Okay. All right, item 8, any unforeseeable business? I am not aware of any. Item 9, do I have a motion for adjournment?
Motion.
Second.
Motion from Chitwood and a second from Gantier. Call for the vote.
Shropshire,
Yes.
Bradshaw,
Yes.
Malure,
Yes.
Chitwood,
Yes.
Trammell,
Yes.
Gantier,
Yes.
Smith,
Yes.
Lamar.
Yes.
You were asking if I needed anything during that budget meeting. I like donuts. That's right up there with pizza.
Are we adjourned? Hey, Choya, in the words of your colleague over there to your left, you can buy your own damn donuts.
That's what I got you. I got you. Yep.
That was in reference to Ricky Hayes and his.
Yeah.
Oh, I know what that was in reference to. I'll say it again. It was lunch.
Lunch, right, it was lunch. All right, let's call to order the Pryor Public Works Authority. Item 2, approve the minutes of the November 7th, 2023 meeting.
So moved.
Second.
That was Gantier for the motion and a second from Chitwood. Discussion, call for the vote.
Bradshaw,
Yes.
Malure,
Yes.
Chitwood,
Yes.
Trammell,
Yes.
Gantier,
Yes.
Smith,
Yes.
Lamar,
Yes.
Shropshire.
Yes.
All right, item 3, we have no unforeseeable business. Number 4,
Motion.
Second.
that was a motion from John Ketcher,
Yeah.
second from Gantier.
That was a motion from John Ketchum.
Chitwood had the motion, Gantier had
Did
the
he,
call for the
did he read
vote.
it? He said it before he read it.
Malure,
Yes.
Chitwood,
Yes.
Trammell,
Yes.
Gantier,
Yes.
Smith,
Yes.
Lamar,
Yes.
Shropshire,
Yes.
Bradshaw.
Yes.
Thank you, we're adjourned. I'd like to wish